Shakespeare once wrote, "To hosh or not to hosh? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous harshness, or to join a task team against a sea of Kharistans, and by opposing end them." Shakespeare was seeing into modern day Mzansi, into the movie, into the drama, into the series, into the telenovela. To hosh or not to hosh? That is the question. Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. Something extraordinary just happened. Something scintillating, something peculiar, something bizarre, something which is a rather unique coincidence. And in fact, coincidence is the word of the show today. In fact, is a coincidence so unique that I am of the view that it is Hosh Curry-esque. It is a coincidence which is Hosh Curry-esque, and I'll explain why I'm saying that as we go into it. So here's what happened. The head of investigations at the investigating directorate against corruption, Mr. Matthew Sesoko, was reported by multiple publications to have been the victim of a crime late on Friday night. This thing is what I'm now saying is the unique coincidence of a Hosh Curry-esque nature. So what the reporting indicates is that 2 items were reported stolen: his state laptop and his state cell phone. It appears he doesn't have a personal cell phone that was stolen, personal iPad that was stolen, no other technological devices were on his person, nothing was stolen outside of the state laptop, state cell phone. This happened in the same week that Brown Mkhotsi was claiming that his car was shot at. So much is going down. What is very interesting about this reporting is that the mainstream media has been actually very adamant that they want to see evidence. The fishers of evidence have been saying to General Khumalo, "Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where is the evidence?" They've consistently asked for proof of everything that has been said. However, in their reporting on the stolen laptop, in their reporting on the stolen cell phone, no evidence was adduced by those same media houses. They said that Mr. Sesoko was a victim of an assault. When these people were taking his cell phone, his laptop, they assaulted him brutally, according to the reporting. However, no pictures of the assault were attached to any of the reports. Not a single picture was attached. So we didn't see any swollen face. We didn't see any bruises, nothing. All we heard was just consistently from a variety of outlets that this had happened. And they said they spoke to 3 sources who could confirm. No pictures. No pictures, none whatsoever. I found this to be strange. I must be quite honest. I found it to be strange because the media has been persisting that evidence must be shown, particularly when there are allegations which are being made of this nature. They asked Mkhwanazi for evidence. They claimed that there was no evidence that Mkhwanazi had. But in this particular instance, they reported on something without showing us any evidence whatsoever. You know, when people accuse people of domestic violence on social media, they often post pictures of that domestic violence. You know, Mihlali, I think at some point also posted pictures of Leroy Sidambe's abuse, and she would show bruises and all of that. It's reasonable, I think, to expect when you say that you've been assaulted, when you say you've been a victim of grievous bodily harm, that you adduce the medical reports, that you adduce also the evidence of that assault which you say happened. In this particular instance, nothing to that effect was attached. Now, Mr. Sesoko has been pictured with Robert McBride, who has also been pictured with the Member of Parliament, Fadel Adams. Now, this causal connection is something which has led to speculation which I think is worth outlining for the purpose of critically thinking about what has been presented at the ad hoc committee and all of the allegations which have been raised around the infiltration of the executive, of policing structures by members of this cartel, which we were told is the Big Five cartel. Now, Mr. Adams is a key figure in all of the allegations which have been raised. Mr. Adams is a key figure in one set of allegations which have led to the arrest of General Khumalo and others, and then led to General Khumalo having bail conditions so strict that he cannot continue with the investigations, which we know were leading to the arrest of people such as Katiso Molefe and people within that cartel, which has been identified as being the cartel that was responsible for the death of Armand Swart, according to the allegations, looting a Transnet from tender fraud and a variety of other forms of hoshkari behavior. So Mr. Fidel Adams is a key figure in all of this because he says he came across top secret documents which he said slipped under his door. Some people would then ask the question, did they really slip under your door if you are seen with people who have been involved in high levels of policing, such as Robert McBride? Did he give you the documents? And if there's a causal link between Robert McBride and Matthew Sissoko and others, were you perhaps not used as somebody who can then be the cause of the action which they're going to take to try to slow down General Khumalo? In any event, let's continue with this train of thought. So Mr. Adams says top secret documents came to his attention. He then lodged a complaint. He lodged a complaint with IDAC, where Mr. Sissoko is from, and where there's a weird relationship in the IDAC chain of command because one of the key officials of IDAC is the husband of Andrea Johnson. And Andrea Johnson is the one who then approves the investigation on the 6th of December 2024, the same day where the arrest of Katiso Molefe happened. So those documents which Mr. Adams received became the basis of the criminal investigation, which was launched into General Dumisani Khumalo, who's the head of crime intelligence, the head of everything that was happening, to basically arrest and apprehend members of this hoshkari cartel. The timing of the complaint coincided with the addition of the members of the KZN Political Killings Task Team to the Gauteng Counterintelligence Operations Team, which had then been critical to the arrest of Mr. Katiso Molefe, the hoshkari kingpin. We've seen a lot of evidence indicating, one, the nature of his activities, two, the nature of his relationship with senior police officers, such as Detective Michael Puletau. We've seen also now footage of people going to his house to get chocolate bags and doing so in vehicles which belonged to none other than General Shadrack Sibia. So we've seen a lot of evidence showing that there's a relationship between Katiso Molefe and various people in law enforcement. So coincidentally, as I said, the husband of Advocate Andrea Johnson works under General Khumalo, and according to Begicele, they do not get along. Further coincidentally, Advocate Andrea Johnson at a different point sat on a panel which actually gave her husband a job, something which is very similar to what they've said General Khumalo is guilty of, an HR issue which has basically been escalated into a criminal complaint. So what's critical to be aware of is that the complaint lodged by Fidel Adams was then actioned on the 6th of December, the very same day that Katiso Molefe was arrested, the same day that the Hawks were sent to the Molefe mansion. A lot of coincidences on the 6th of December 2024. Now, there was a line of questioning that came from Honorable Nomvalo, which is important to outline and focus on because it adds to this matrix of coincidences. This matrix of coincidences. Now, I don't know if you believe in coincidence or not, but this matrix of coincidence is giving Hosh. There's a Hosh flavor to it. A Hoshirium Maximus Pro HD 1080p, no, 4K. Something's happening here. Now, the original affidavit seems to be missing. The original affidavit that was filed by Fidel Adams. Or it seems to be one that no one is willing to produce. And it's something that would perhaps be on the laptop of the head of investigation of IDAC, which is the entity which arrested Khumalo. But one day, because the questions were asked to Andrea Johnson on Thursday, on Friday we hear that the laptop and the cell phone, state laptop, state cell phone, are stolen. Now listen to this exchange and tell me what you think.
You said General Khumalo was arrested as a consequence of a referral that was made by Honorable Adams, correct?
Correct.
And Honorable Adams made that referral in terms of Section 27. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, when was this referral authorized?
The referral was made on the 22nd of November. The investigation itself was authorized on the 6th of December.
So it was authorized on the 6th of December.
That is correct. Because investigations wouldn't have been able to continue without the authorization, Honorable Member.
Okay. And then you further said for a referral to pass or to be successful, there must be an affidavit to which the deponent has deposed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, in this referral that was made in November 2024, on the 21st, was there any affidavit attached on the referral that was made in November?
The referral is an affidavit made by Mr. Adams.
And that affidavit is dated?
The 22nd of November, 2024.
Do you have it in your possession?
No, I don't.
Don't you think it was going to be important for you? Because another problem which I have with your statement is that documents which are relevant have not been attached. Not only because to some of us, documents are helping us to cross-reference and to see if there is corroboration between your statements and the attachments that are relevant to your statement. Now, if we just rely on a statement, and there is a precedent that has been made by witnesses who have come before you, they make, for easy reference, they make huge bundles of attachments so that we can be able to go further in terms of making sure that we broaden our insight. Now, my problem here is that you have not attached the relevant documents. The second document which is relevant, which you have not attached, is a letter that you wrote to a general requesting for the dockets that you wrote in December. But let's go back to this referral. You know that a docket is a public document, right?
No.
Would you agree with me if I say to you, the affidavit of Honorable Adams is dated the 6th of January, 2025.
That would be a supplementary affidavit because follow-up engagements were had by the investigating team with Mr. Adams. I did indicate that as well earlier. So yes, there would be a 6 January document.
Can you be able to furnish us with the original affidavit?
Unfortunately, Honorable Chair and members, that is not a document that I can disclose. But if there are of the other documents, this document has not even been disclosed to the defense. And it is one of those documents where even the defense would have to apply for the document to be made available to them. The Section 27 referral cannot be made available. But other documents that Honorable Nomvalo or any other member says should have been here, what I would ask all of the honorable members is to kindly provide the chair with a list, and those documents that can be made available should be made available to this House in the course of next week as part of a bundle, which would then be referenced according to the affidavit and then be sent to the evidence leader for distribution. But where we are with the current matter, and because the Section 27 also, Honorable Nomvalo, still relates to other investigations that are pending, the Section 27 referral will not be made available. I'm not being difficult. I'm just indicating that in terms of where we are in the process, IDAC cannot make the Section 27 available.
So is it a classified document?
It's not a classified document as in we've written on it top secret. It is a document that seeks to initiate the intake of a matter. It is a document that, should it be disclosed, will have to first be disclosed to an accused. That document has not been made available to any of the accused. I can therefore not make any of those documents available. It is not like the charge sheet. It's not a public document.
So
it is a confidential document that deals with the intake of a matter within IDAC and how the matter is then considered for intake and then for the later authorization.
So which law are you relying on to make that proposition?
I'm saying that in terms of process, we have not disclosed a Section 27 referral. It is a confidential document similar to how we have memos in the NPA. And not just IDAC. There are certain documents that are not made available for public consideration.
Yeah, but which law? You mean when you say in terms of the process,
So
you mean in terms of the established precedent within the organization, or there is a particular law that speaks to that effect?
So I cannot give you the law that deals with that. I talk to the confidentiality of the document and what it purports to do. So that document is used for a very specific purpose, and it is used to initiate an intake and a referral. It is a confidential internal document.
Yeah, no, if that is the case, then I think I'm left helpless, but I will just put this proposition to you. The affidavit that I've been exposed to is not a supplementary affidavit. A supplementary affidavit is an affidavit that makes notes of the content of the original affidavit and continues with the supplementary content that is contained in the supplementary affidavit. So the affidavit of the 6th of January 2025 is an original affidavit. I'm making that proposition to you. I can only change it if you come with an information that suggests otherwise. But the information that is at my disposal is an original affidavit, not a supplementary affidavit. It was signed by Mr. Barnard on the 6th of January 2025. By Mr. Adams. My apologies, Honorable Barnard. By Mr. Adams on the 6th of January 2025.
So on the 22nd of November 2024, we had a referral affidavit that refers the matter to IDAC and sets out in broad strokes the allegations. What I did understand from the investigating and prosecuting team, Honorable Khumalo, is that they did a follow-up interview and statement taking with Mr. Adams on the 6th of January. So I've called it a supplementary affidavit because it was a follow-up affidavit. I'm not disputing what you have. They may not have written it as a supplementary affidavit.
So what was it supplementing?
So as we've gone through this process, also in MK15, what was being raised is what was in those dockets was not enough for one to decide. So for the further investigations to take place, a follow-up interview was held with Mr. Adams on all of the various matters to be able to get clarity and to be able to get more substance, which is what the investigating team sought to do.
Yeah, Advocate, I'm very worried that all what you are telling us now has not been mentioned in your statement. You have not told the committee that, or through your statement under oath, that there is an affidavit that was filed on the 6th beyond an affidavit that was filed in a referral application that you are referring to. So do you mean that the application, because the affidavit was signed after December, after the application was authorized for investigation. So you mean this affidavit, which was signed in January, was signed after the application was authorized? Then if that is the case, then why did you need to sign another affidavit on the 6th of January when an application already has been signed with an affidavit that you are referring to? Because if there was an affidavit, then it means the requirements were met, requirements for the application to be authorized.
The requirements were met, Honorable Nomvalo, for a preliminary investigation to be authorized. That is what was authorized. Once that is authorized, it means that the investigators can go ahead and conduct further investigations, which meant the taking of further statements and or an additional statement, whichever way you want to put it, from Adams, as well as then the obtaining of documents from wherever it is that they needed to obtain those documents. But without that, they would not have been able to do the follow-up that they did on the 6th of January.
I don't want to deprive people who want to, their hands which were up. I don't know if you will note them.
Yeah, no, there is a standing principle that you run and finish your questions.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Now, you are saying the process was authorized, or the investigation was authorized on the 6th of December. Is that what you are saying?
Correct.
And then on the same day, you issued out a letter, or you wrote a letter to General Khumalo requesting for dockets. Is that what you are saying?
That is correct.
Now, do you have a letter in your possession?
I have.
I think Honorable Sangoni
Yes.
has also requested for it.
She has.
Did you manage to get hold of
I
it?
asked for the letter to be sent. It was sent to me on WhatsApp, which I have on my phone and which I can make available.
Okay.
Honorable Chair, I'm not sure if you heard me where I said I do apologize if there are documents that any of the honorable members seek, if they could kindly provide a list so that in the course of next week, the documents that I am able to provide will be provided to the evidence leader for dissemination.
Let me share my initial thoughts with you, having heard this story. Number one, and having reflected on the exchange which happened on Thursday. Number one, it's odd to me that the original affidavit, is something that they were not willing to adduce and add to the statement. It's very peculiar that the original docket is being described as top secret without any reference to relevant legislation that empowers that, because it wasn't classified as top secret. The supplementary affidavit is not top secret. The supplementary affidavit is attached, but the original affidavit that was filed by Fidel Adams is not attached. I think that Nomvalo was correct to ask that question, and I think it's odd that it wasn't added. It's odd to me that the investigation into General Khumalo was approved on the 6th of December 2024. This is a weird coincidence that I can't shake off. It's odd to me that the documents, right, which were supposed to be attached, were not attached to the statement which was presented by Advocate Andrea Johnson to Parliament. I thought that she should have done so. And because already there are questions around some of her rhetoric, where in the state capture matter, she said that people should carry empty files and dress to the nines so that they can look the part, even if their boxes were not full. I can't shake it. It's odd at the very least. It's odd to me that, as I said, the supplementary is available, but the original is not. It's odd to me that the defense, up till now, has not been provided with the original docket when the case is at such an advanced stage. I mean, it's the 9th of November 2025 when I'm recording this episode. This case, the investigation started, as we were told, on the 6th of December, and the affidavit was apparently filed on the 22nd thereabouts of November last year, almost a year later. I don't think that's in the interest of justice. I don't think that's something that is typical in a case where you have a docket against you that is being prosecuted and you have not had original sight of it. I don't think that's typical criminal law, unless there's someone who knows better in the comment section. That's just odd to me. And in conclusion, I just think it's a festival of coincidences, really. It's a major coincidence that after an undertaking was made to share the documents which were missing from the statement, that the laptop of the head of the investigation and the cell phone of the head of the investigation was stolen. I could be wrong, but it's giving horse curry. It really is. I don't know what you think. Let's meet in the comment section. I know what I owe you. I'm going to deliver. I want to do a proper summary of what Khumalo said, a proper summary of even what Advocate Johnson said. I think it's going to matter in the long term as we consider everything that's been presented. Part of the challenge now is not being lost in the volume of content, but making sure that we have good summaries that we can go back to. And I'm going to try to make it a proper playlist so that we can go back to major moments, so that when this is all concluded, we can all follow and see whether or not the summary and the reports that are submitted to the president, etc., are in keeping with what we saw with our own eyes. So that's still coming. Wait for it. It's taking me a bit longer than I thought. It's a large amount of content, but I want to do it well because I think that the various people have sacrificed themselves and put their lives and careers on the line to actually stop this horse curry behavior. So I better make a good summary. So look out for that.